Hi, it's Luke with Auto Darts. I love fall. Do you know why? New blasters. And some special surprises on this one. Let's get going. Hasbro has been a mixed bag over the past couple of years. Between the Ultra series, which is a pretty sad lineup for the most part. There are a few exceptions, but not great, not a great ammo type. And Elite 2.0, which was very discouraging to modders, featuring blasters that can't be opened. It's been a pretty rocky road to say the least. Mega XL is something we've heard about for a little while, and I was really excited to get my hands on the Boom Dozer. Spoiler alert, we got two. This is unopened, so I'm going to unbox this one. Why do I never have a knife in my hand when I want my knife? Ooh, look at that.
I think it's on the outside.
It's like, where is it? Always good having help around. So we've got a second one of these, which we've already thrown a cylinder into, making it a shotgun. A little more on that later as we get through. I have to say right off the bat, I really think the styling on this box is cool. The color palette is awesome. We got a really nice hot blue, and I like that quite a bit, with a lot of orange and white, and I think it's a good, solid color scheme. So this is the Mega XL. Inside the box you will find 6 giant rounds, and that's really one of the key parts of this video, and really this platform in general, because I think this is probably the most interesting ammo type they've released in ages. This blaster really has the feel of a grenade launcher. I mean, these rounds in themselves, I'll talk a little bit more about them specifically later, but they're big. I mean, you compare them to a rocket, they're just a little bit shorter and a little bit, they're not quite as wide, but they are really cool. I love rockets, I love different ammo types for the most part, but I think this might be the best one yet. Out of the box, this is performing quite well. It's a 6-shot revolving rocket launcher, grenade launcher. I mean, it's Mega XL. It's its own class, but it's prime fire, and it of course has slam fire. Though I can say my results with slam fire have been mixed. I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong there. I'd be really curious. I've got a few extra rounds here, so let's go ahead and load that up again. In my demo firing, I didn't have too many issues there, but let's take a look. I can't say I would slam fire a blaster that's got 6 shots unless there was some special reason to be doing that, but let's try that again. Full 6-shot load for slam fire. Yeah, we did the same thing. So there's definitely something going on with slam fire. I'll be curious to try that again with the other unit we've got, but let's assume that slam fire is maybe a maybe, which is probably not ideal. The blaster's got very unique styling. It's a very aggressive marketing campaign to market their new blaster, and I have to say I like the breakthrough style and the rocks, but I think the logo is just a little bit too much. I know they're trying to push, their new lineup and everything. We've got the big Boom Dozer logo here. We've got a little grate see-through here. I think the styling itself is really cool with the oversized muzzle and everything, but I don't really love seeing so much text. That has been the styling that they've gone with for Mega. Mega blasters have always been, big and a lot of text that say Mega. So make an XL even bigger. I guess it's a logical thing, and from a marketing perspective, it's definitely probably a good call as far as marketing to most kids who this is ultimately the target for. The blaster itself is quite comfortable. The grip, I'd say I'd give a 4 out of 5. It actually fits my adult hands quite well. It's not the most comfortable grip in the world, but it is far from the worst, and I'd put it at the top third of the pack ultimately. The priming handle itself, the pump grip, is very comfortable. It's large, it actually fits my hand, and it kind of makes sense. It's Mega XL. It better be a big blaster, and it better fit big hands. Otherwise, it's not going to feel large in your hand. I can kind of imagine a 10-year-old picking this up and it just feeling really bonkers large in their hands, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Other than the slamfire issue, the performance is quite good for being a much larger ammo type. This blaster is shooting about 60 feet per second on average. I'll put up the actual 20-shot average on the screen above. In back, we've got, of course, an end strike attachment, which is very welcome, meaning you can toss on any of your classic stocks. That is a little awkward, I have to say. I'm not sure that I would, with the accuracy of a fatty dart like this, I'm not sure I would actually use a stock, but it's nice to have it there. I would really like to see a sling point back here, so I'm probably going to develop both a cap sling point and something that locks in up here on the rail, because I definitely think this blaster needs a sling with how much heft it has. Right off the bat, we've seen a couple different mods we want to do, and I'm going to go over really quickly. We'll probably have another video on modding this blaster, but we're definitely going to be offering a spring upgrade, a couple different cylinders to swap out the ammo type, and then a muzzle replacement. I'm not a huge fan of this giant muzzle. It has a cool look, but practically when you're going around bunkers and things, it serves zero purpose, and there's plenty of orange on this blaster, so I think taking that off would be great. Before we get into the brief mod overview, it's worth noting that back here is sadly either a solvent weld or glue. Not entirely sure which, but regardless, it was a little bit of work to get open. I think if I did my second one, it would be easier. You pretty much just rip it right open, it'll come off, and it's just this seam right here. Not too bad. We'll show some video clips here, but it is something to keep in mind. The muzzle also, unfortunately, seems to be glued or welded in place, so it's going to be a little bit more work to get that out. One great tip for that is, rather than trying to boil water and put this in the water, you take a kettle of boiled water or a pot and you dump the water over the plastic to help loosen up that adhesive. I'll do a video on that if we offer the muzzle, because I think we're going to do a replacement muzzle, a spring, and a couple different cylinder options. So speaking of cylinder options, this is a shotgun 5-shot by 6, so 30 round capacity here, sent to me by Chicken. We'll put his link down in the description. He currently has about 60 followers on YouTube, so please go change that if you want to keep seeing him make more mods. I'm not exactly sure where he lives, but we are going to be offering these on the shop. I'm working on an option to license these from him. I'm definitely going to do some more tweaks and tuning to get them to my standard for design aesthetic, and right now there's a few sharp edges, so there's a few things I want to tweak. But right out of the box, taking this thing apart, and once we got it put back together properly, we've got a 5-shot shotgun. And I have to say, I really liked the concept of the Judge. Hopefully we can throw a Judge image up on screen here. But the Judge was just such a massive, like, ridiculous blaster, whereas this blaster is actually usable, and I think you could bring it to a game and play with it. Whereas the Judge it's literally larger than my head, so it was a little absurd. But this cylinder works really, really well. You're not going to get crazy ranges, but you're at least going to get an effective range of 30, 35 feet. And I think that's pretty awesome for an actual 5-shot scatter shot blaster. There's also going to be a full-length option and I believe a triple mega. So there's a lot of mod potential in this blaster. Speaking of mod potential, the blaster does have a very, very large plunger tube. At first, I thought it was going to be larger than it is, but it looks to be around the size of a long shot, maybe a little bit smaller. If anybody's got any perspective on that and has both in hand, let me know in the comments. I didn't actually measure the volume or anything yet. We'll get more into that later. As we do add these options to the shop, we'll have these down below in the description. I think this is going to be a really, really popular platform. And before I close it out, I really did want to talk about this ammo. I think this is super cool. We've had a very large scarcity of these rockets, which I think are used as specialty ammo types in most games across the country. They're a lot more expensive to make, and they're a lot more expensive to buy. Currently, they're $5 a piece on Amazon, and the fins do break and wear out. So they're not as readily available. I think it's a really great idea to make these the new replacement for these rockets in games. So I'm hoping to see this get adapted as your not only your shield buster, but your special killer and that kind of thing. Anytime a new ammo type does come out, though, I'm always a little wary because Hyper is a mixed bag so far. We'll see where that goes. Ultra never did anybody any good as far as I'm concerned, and that can go away. I think this is a step in the right direction, though. It's unique. It's really fun. The Whistler is really satisfying to fire across the field, and I hope we'll see this at a lot of game types in the future. I'd be a little bit disappointed if you valued these two ammo types as the same, because if you do value them as the same, it makes this whole line kind of pointless for firing the original ammo type. However, if you make these equal, then you've just opened up a whole new realm of blasters and a whole new line that can be that shield buster and can be that special destroyer or whatever else it is. It will be interesting to see how game admins actually take this ammo type and run with it. I would love to hear from you in the comments. What are your thoughts on the Boom Dozer? At $49.99, I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5 stars. It's not perfect. It does have a little issue with slamfire, it seems, but it's got a lot of modding potential. We picked this up at Meyer. They're running a sale right now. Probably not gonna be happening by the time the video gets up, but do check out and take a look around for sales and whatnot. Obviously, prices will come down over time, but given that it's $50, only comes with 6 rounds, and a few minor issues here and there, I think 4 out of 5 is about where I'd land this. But I would love to hear from you on the ammo type. What do you think this should represent in a game? Should it replace a rocket? Should it actually be a shield destroyer that destroys, does area damage or splash damage? Or is it just a shield piercing round or the same effect as Mega, which at some games basically don't do anything? Thank you so much for watching. We have a lot more coming. As far as I'm aware, the Mark III is showing up today when we're filming this, so by the time you're watching this, I will already have dove in on that blaster, and we'll be working on reviews and mod content and a lot of new designs. Until next time, I'm out of darts.